Alright, what's going on guys? Welcome back to the channel. Continuing on with the GTR giveaway build, 500 plus kilowatt build. If you haven't seen the previous video on this thing, go check it out. In this one, we're going to be getting the car running. Got a lot to do. I've been re-looming all the wiring and tidying all that up, so that's nearing completion. Still got to decide whether I want to put the battery back here or in the boot. I'm undecided. All the rocker covers, front covers next door, getting painted in something real special, so stay tuned for that. Could be the thumbnail of this video though, so you might have already seen it. Yeah, got heaps to do. Got bigger fuel lines, feed and return to run under the car, twin pumps to install on the factory hanger and the factory tank, power steering stuff, fabrication, gonna be doing some custom 3-inch aluminium piping. We got Phoenix sending out a big boy intercooler and radiator, doing a 4-inch stainless exhaust, doing something a bit special for the intake. Yeah, lots of fabrication to do, plumbing. Got a big order of Zoo Performance line and fittings, so got to do all the plumbing for the turbo, injectors, fuel for the injectors. Shit going everywhere pretty much, but yeah, it's getting there. So come along for the ride. This thing's gonna be real nice. Don't forget, you can go in the draw to win this. Sign up to be a member at keepreet.com. You go on the draw to win all our giveaway cars. Starts as little as like $20. Am I right, Adam?
I think so. Yeah.
I think something like that. And then if you want to really support the boys, you can get one of the gangster membership passes and you get more entries in. Better your chances to win sick builds like this and more. All the money goes back into growing the sport of drifting and creating events for people to do drifting safely off the streets. How's that for a sales pitch?
Practice on it at all that, yeah. I can't take no loss, yeah. I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground then it go off, yeah. Hit the ground then it go off, yeah.
So yeah, I just installed a Gecko brake line kit. Super neat, super nice. We also got the Gecko braided clutch line on there. New masters, looking neat. I'm just looking at the wastegate. Got this beautiful ProGate 50 and the perp. Looking at the positioning, trying to not destroy the aircon lines. So I think I'm gonna pull the manifold off and just cut that tube back a bit and sit this like sort of under the turbo. It's not much good back here because got to put a 4-inch dump pipe down there and AC lines, so I'm gonna have a play around with that. I got the fittings and stuff to start looking at some lines for the turbo as well. So you can see I've already got a AN10 fitting screwed into the block there and a hose end screwed on, ready for the oil drain to go up into the bottom of the turbo. So that'll be all Teflon AN10 stuff. Slide some heat sleeving on it. Yeah, everything else is pretty straightforward. Got some fittings in the block for, that's the oil feed for the turbo, and then there's another fitting there, is the water feed, and then there's a hose adapted to AN on that side for the water return. So not bad, ticking along. And then while I'm waiting for a few bits and pieces, I just ordered a power steering reservoir. The factory one will hit the turbo. While I'm waiting for radiator, intercooler, cooler piping, exhaust piping, I'm gonna go down the back and start looking at putting the fuel pumps and bigger fuel lines in, running them and get some fuel happening. Got a fuel pressure regulator to mount. Odds and ends, plenty to do still. Let's do it. Just going on. True. Alright, chop down the manifold a bit. Oh, Jamie Rogers, is that you? Oh! It's a wild JB Rogers.
Chicken's ready, boy.
Oh, Drew.
Thank you, Corey's big cook-ups.
Corey's
Friday barbecues.
Oh, I'll be down in a sec. I'm thinking the gate's going to be pretty good. We'll have to do some heat management, but I'm thinking of doing some weird snaking and having it coming up, over and down, because I can't really shoot it straight down because there's AC lines there. So I think it might look pretty cool to do something a bit fancy. Barbie time. Ooh, Corey's cook-ups. So I also just noticed the flange opening on the manifold, a lot bigger than the turbo rear housing. So got this gasket. We use the genuine Nissan T3 gaskets. They're nice and thick to suit like a R33 factory turbo, if you're wondering. So you see that the center hole lines up pretty nicely with the manifold, and yeah, there's a fair bit of meat that needs to be removed on this rear housing, so I'm going to mark that out and get the Dremel onto it, get the extra flows. Bit of a painful job with the old 240 volt drill, diamond bit or whatever it is. Eesh, that's ported. Flow all the airs, make all the boosts. I'm going to put some adapter fittings in the turbo now, maybe make the oil drain line, and don't care. Also want to give a quick shout out to our guy, Gian, from Pulse Titanium. We made a lot of stuff for the Barrel Wagoon with his amazing titanium, and he sent out some goodies for the build. So I got a bunch of pie cuts. So I'm gonna be making a pretty spicy intake for this thing out of some colored titanium, so that'll be pretty cool. He sent us a blast pipe kit, just as a little goodie. We got some strut tower titanium nuts that we can color, and he's also sent us some of this stuff. So this is his company PyroGuard, and you might have seen this before. Some people like Taylor Ray just had his whole hot side done with it, but it's basically heat protection shield stuff. You can mold around your hot side and tack with a TIG welder, and it's basically some of the best heat protection you can get. So pretty keen. I just stabbed myself with it. Pretty keen to have a play with it. It came with this as well. I'll have to work out how it works, but it should be sick. Alright guys, so today on the GTR build, I'm gonna attack all the fuel lines, fuel pumps, injectors. I'm gonna go pick up our fuel rail, fuel pressure regulator, and do all the lines and fittings. I'll do the turbo lines and fittings as well. But right now, I'm just gonna duck next door. Old mate Dale from Ward Paint and Fabrication is sprayed up our rocker covers and front covers. So we'll go check them out and slap them on so we can have a look. With that business. Who you kidding, man? Yeah. Say gon' put me all in the mad with all that mad game you been talking. Oh yeah, man, that's awesome. Yeah. Show me this plan that you brought me and this cash you ain't mentioned yet, dog. I'm done with all that. How'd you go, mate?
Good, mate.
Yeah? Come up pretty spicy.
A little bit of candy purple. A little bit of coarse metallic in the clear. Not bad.
Not bad. We should go slap them on and see how they look, eh?
I reckon that's the plan.
Something a bit special.
Something different.
No, I've done a good job, mate. We'll go slap them on, have a gander, sit back and look at it for the rest of the day. That'll be day done. Yeah. Alright, you ready? Let's get her dressed up and take a look. Ooh! Damn, son. How's that for some spice? Ooh. It looks more maroony on the camera. It's more purple in person. So you guys will just have to see it for yourselves. But, oof. That's gang. Obviously still gonna have a lot more going on, which should really pop it off. Got a crank angle sensor. Not sure what to do about this badge in here. It's just sitting there for the moment. Obviously got the rock cover breathers. I welded AN10s on the back there. Got the fuel rail, which I'm gonna be putting in today. The piping and everything else, but oof, looks sick. Alright guys, bit of an update. She's coming along nicely. So I've got all the Dash 8 fuel lines, feed and return ran. I'll show you that when the car's in the air next. The Turbosmart 1200 fuel pressure regulators installed. We got all our fuel lines, fuel rails, 1650cc injectors. It's coming together. I got all the turbo lines made. Thanks to Zoo Performance for all the gangster fittings and lines. All the good stuff. We do actually have a code if you want 10% off on their website, KIR10. Use the code, keep it Reet 10, KIR10, 10% off. Get on it. It's Kane. They got heaps of sick stuff on the website. Got all the turbo lines and stuff done. They're just chilling at the moment because I just had the manifold off. I welded on the V-band for our Turbosmart 50mm Pro Gate. So I'm gonna start looking at the screamer pipe and the exhaust. I've had a big delivery from Amron. Got all our alloy bends, our stainless bends. Gonna be doing a full 4-inch system on it. Got a 4-inch 100 cell high flow cap. Thoughts?
I can see you through it.
That's going.
Well,
Corey
it doesn't take much noise out.
4-inch V-bands, rod, expander. Because the back of the turbo is only 3-inch. So that'll go on there. We'll snake a 4-inch down there. And I got to fit a screamer pipe down there off the wastegate too. It's going to be vented to atmosphere because you got to let the RB scream. If the new owner wants to plumb it back in, pretty easy to do. We've got to have it scream, so it is what it is. Power steering reservoir, because the factory one was going to hit the turbo. So I got a nice billet buoy that's going to go there somewhere. I haven't exactly worked it out. It's gonna go somewhere. Get stuck in this fabrication, give you an update when it's almost done. If you've not had the chance to win this thing, head over to keeperreet.com, get yourself a level 2 membership, support what we do. Ignore the brain aneurysm. I haven't filmed a whole lot because got a bit of a time crunch to get this thing done, so I've just been busy, hard at it. She's coming along nicely, still waiting on a few things. But yeah, this is where we're up to right now. Got a beautiful Phoenix alloy rat in there, standard shroud and fan. Still waiting on the intercooler that they're sending out, so hopefully get that this week. So I just mocked up some of the charge pipes, did some bead rolling. It's all nice. Got the exhaust all done. So, and the screamer pipe off our ProGate 50. So we got expander and then full 4-inch the whole way. I'll show you underneath the car in a minute. And then our screamer pipe that goes down, weaves up and around and down. So the turbo's bolted on fully now. Got the stainless locking nuts on the turbo gasket, all our Zoo Performance lines and fittings. Looking good. Speed Tech manifold, Hyper Gear turbo, all the accessory belts and everything done. I got the PRP R35 coil pack kit and coil packs bolted in. Still waiting on the RB loom because Golbies were waiting on stock. So hopefully this week so I can wire them up. Got some stuff to move the battery into the boot because I sat the battery here for like 1 second. I was like, nah, that's gross. So I'm gonna move the battery into the boot. Need to run a cable down there regardless for the relays for the fuel pump. So figured I'll run a beefy cable for the battery in the boot. I got a Mackie Elec battery tray and clamp. So that's Kang. All new brakes all around, new braided brake lines to put in. See the 4-inch exit there? Going for that raw racy look of just 4-inch pipe. Yeah, pretty gangster. So, under it, starting in the front, got the dump pipe obviously. There's the screamer pipe. That's gonna make all the cool noises. Coming back, 100 cell cat, high flow, full 4-inch, all the way back. Another V-band here, so if we want to, or the new owner wants to put a muffler back here, it'll be pretty straightforward. Got our Dash 8 fuel lines, just push lock hose under here. Thanks to Zoo Performance. Oof, KIR10, 10% off boys, link in the description. Jump on. Hikus delete happening, so Hikus lock bar. Got this tie rod on, so we're gonna do this one. Beautiful shock works. Oof. Oof. Braided clutch line from Gecko Tech. Coming together though. Still waiting on an ATP catch can, same one we use on the wagon and a few other cars. So got the fittings there ready to go. Not gonna lie, pretty cut that I'm not allowed to enter the giveaways because this is definitely one I would like to take home. You're allowed to enter though, so If you're not already a member, head over to the website, link in the description. Sign up to be a member, not a be a membership. Anyway, jump on it. Yeah, right now, I think I'm gonna tack up the intake pipe because I'm kind of hanging to do it. Shout out Pulse Titanium. Sent us over some beautiful, ready to tack titanium 4-inch pie cuts. They're in a raw finish, right? So we're gonna tack them up, make our intake, work out how many I need and everything, tag it, and then gonna polish it so it's all like shiny and polished, and then take a blowtorch to it. And I'm going to attempt to make it all like purple. Very hard to make titanium purple with a blowtorch because there's like a super fine line between gold and blue. There's purple in the middle, and as soon as it goes gold, a little bit more heat, and it goes purple blue. You sort of got to heat it, wait, and watch it change. It's pretty hard, but see what happens. Intake pipe, all tacked up. That's what I'm gonna go with. Yeah, looks pretty sick. I was hoping to do like one continuous sweep, but it's just gonna be too close to this. So we went for the old Snakus. I think it's gonna look pretty sick. So I'm gonna go ahead, polish this up, heat it to the color I want, and then weld it. So yeah, fingers crossed. I'm gonna try to fuse weld it all. These end bits that I had to cut are gonna be a little bit harder to fuse weld. So the two end bits might have to have filler, but hopefully nice neat fuse the whole center section. There is our polished pipe. It came out okay. It's a little bit inconsistent, but it's all right. Now all the joins have polish compound in them. So that's just awesome. I'm sure that's gonna make welding it really easy. But I'm gonna try get some color in it now with the blowtorch. See how she goes. All right, so I ended up sitting it in a V-band and clamping it in the tire machine. Corey's
Credit where credit's due.
Corey's V-band idea, my tire machine idea. Got the other blowtorch. I'm gonna sit here and because you really need to try heat it evenly. So hopefully the rotation helps heat it evenly. I don't know. We'll see what happens, eh?
I need more of that. I need more. I need more of that. Give me more.
So this is what it looks like heated. Bit blotchy. About as good as I can get it. It's just like, it goes blue as soon as it goes purple, and it's hard to get it uniform, but we'll weld it out and see how it looks. It's pretty in your face, but should be something different. Ooh. Intake is done. Came out all right. It's not how I pictured it. I think I overestimated my ability to work with titanium, but it looks pretty sick and matches the rocker cover pretty well, so pretty happy with it. Obviously go to get a pod filter to go on here, and yeah, it should be pretty gangster. Yeah, something different. I just installed the loom for the R35 coil packs, and yeah, I'm gonna play around with some wiring, get the battery in the boot, and get this fender on and tidy up all the wiring. So she's nearing completion. Still waiting on the catch can, but I've put those lines in just over there because we're going to be putting it on the dyno very soon. The final piece of the puzzle has just arrived. So huge shout out to Link ECU. They're sponsoring this build and our Battle Royale Pro Series. So huge supporter of the Keep It Reet, and we're a big fan of the Link ECU products. They make some pretty cool stuff. So what we have here is the Link GTR. So it's the ECU. A lot of their ECUs, they're plug-in ECUs. They go inside the factory case of your standard ECU. So that way they plug in and bolt in. So that's pretty damn cool. So we're gonna get this bad boy open. We are still waiting on sensors, wideband, you know, a few bits and pieces, but for the dyno, we're just going to have the ECU. I did just slap in a fuel pressure and temp sensor just so we can set that. So it's going to be pretty basic setup. for the tune just to get it done, and then I believe it'll already have a base map for an RB26, but we'll go in, set up some parameters, tell it what injectors we have, dead time, set the dwell settings for the R35 coil packs. Should be able to power this thing up, start cranking it, get some oil pressure and see if she'll burst into life. I'm super keen to hear it with the Speedtech exhaust manifold and the 4-inch exhaust, so it should be pretty killer. Let's get it happening. Oof. That's her. Alright, let's pop this case open and have a gander. Alright, so the link is starting to get inside of the factory case. To remove the old one, there's some of the screws you actually have to heat up with a soldering iron because they're covered in solder. So some of the screws. Sorry I didn't film too much of it. It's pretty straightforward. This has a built-in map sensor. I'm gonna leave it uncovered and pretty raw. The dyno is actually in 2 hours and 45 minutes. This car has to be on the dyno, and I still have some wiring to do, install the ECU. So it's gonna be a bit raw for the minute. I need to get this thing in there, get this thing running. So I'm gonna slap it together, and then yeah, pretty up will come next week, but it's in there. We've got our USB cable and the adapter cable so we can plug it into the computer. Got to run our boost reference line through a hole onto the built-in map sensor, and then obviously there's CAN plugs and then auxiliaries for other stuff you can plug in and wire in, all sorts of cool stuff. We don't have those cables with us right now, so for the minute it's going to be very basic, but bear with me. I'm going to try and get this thing in, get all the settings configured and get this thing running ASAP. Needs to be on a trailer in an hour and 45 minutes. Fingers crossed. So like I said, very crude for the minute. Obviously, once I put the covers back on this, it will bolt straight into the factory position up in there. So I got a couple of things coming down here. I got a 4-wire cable. That's our fuel pressure and temp sensor that's going to be wired into that. You can do it through the expansion loom cables that we don't have right now, or spare factory wires. Same deal with this two wire cable. That's going to be our boost control solenoid, and then the USB coming out to plug into the computer. So I'm going to leave these two ones for the minute. I also have our boost reference, so that's going to go to our built-in map sensor. So I'll just run it into the case and then it'll just slide straight on. That just comes off the intake manifold. Hook that up, plug the computer in, change some settings and see if we can get this thing to pair to life. Had the laptop plugged in, don't mind the seat covers and floor mats, I just don't want to dirty the interior. Set the injector dead time and the dwell settings. I had the power for the coil packs unplugged until I set the dwell settings for the coil packs, because you can actually damage them. So I've plugged that back in now. Crank angle sensors unplugged, gonna crank and get some oil flowing. So disconnected the oil feed for the turbo and we're just gonna crank it until we get some oil, and then see if we can get this thing to burst into life. We'll have to lock the timing and set the crank angle sensor, but yeah, see if she'll crank. Definitely cranks. I got the jump pack on it, but hopefully we don't kill it before we get oil pressure. Keep cranking, huh? Alright, got our oil that come out. It's not the cleanest, hence why I've got 5 litres of cheap oil and oil flush in there, because I'm going to flush the whole system, drain it and refill it before the tune. So I'm going to hook the feed back on, plug in the crank angle sensor, and see if the settings and everything is good enough to get this thing to fire up. Plugged in, hooked back up, moment of truth. And not. Doesn't even want to try to go. Yep, we'll be back. Alright, so not entirely sure why it won't fire, but we've run out of time. It's got to go on the trailer now, so looks like she's getting pushed on. We're going to head down to Checker Tuning and see if we can work it out down there. But that's going to have to be the next video. So we're going to have to wrap this one up here. Unfortunately, we didn't get to start it in this video, so you're just going to have to stay tuned. Wait for the next one to come out where we get this thing fired up and run it up on the dyno. So hit the like button if you enjoyed it anyway. Subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.
We going non-stop, yeah, we won't stop. Say you're looking for a wheel, yeah, you one stop. We going non-stop, yeah, we won't stop. Say you're looking for a wheel, yeah, you one stop.
Check, King, I'm working, that dollar twerking, this money certain. Long as I'm observing, I stay in focus and move.